Welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel. Many of you have been asking for an update on the atrium, the things that we're growing, our trees and all that stuff. So I'm going to take you guys through. I finally got some things cleaned up and out of the way out there, and we are ready to kind of reveal what has been growing over the last couple months. So we've got some trees, we've got some new additions I don't think I've shared with you guys yet, and so we'll take you through, show you what we have growing inside the house. So the atrium has been working really well. We've got all these large windows here, and you can see it's evening now, about 6 o'clock, and we've got the sun just shining in here on the edge. But during most of the day we get real good sunlight through here, and then even through the top parts there. As the spring moves on, the sun's getting higher in the sky, so we get pretty good sun coverage inside the atrium. But I'll take you guys through a couple things. Let's start along the back wall here. We've got some of the trees that we've been growing. So this is the avocado. This was purchased on Amazon in the dead of winter, and this thing has been doing really well. It has been flowering consistently. I mean, we get new flowers on this thing all the time. I'm not sure about pollination. I may have to try to manually pollinate some of these because I haven't seen any fruit to setting yet, but we've got lots of flowers. And so I'm hoping that we do get some avocados from this year. But I'm going to be fertilizing that with some organic fertilizer. I'll show you. I've got MI Gardener's fertilizer we'll put in there, and hopefully we can get some good fruit set on this. But this is a good sized tree. It's about 6 feet tall. I just transplanted it into a larger pot, and I actually found these little rollers, so you can actually spin the pot around a little easier. It's on wheels, which is kind of nice for these bigger trees to move around in here. So this will grow really tall. I'm hoping that it will, grow 12, 15 feet tall in here, and we'll have to get some bigger pots, obviously. But this is actually an aquaponics system. It's a mini aquaponics system that was purchased. It's another Amazon thing. We got this last year, and it's been a lot of fun. Need to clean it up a little bit, but it's got two kind of big fish in here, and it has a little pump underneath the ledge. It pumps up through this little grow bed here, and we've got some of these plants in here. These things have been doing really well, all this new growth since we put them in there. And we're actually going to try some strawberries in here, so we'll be planting those in here soon, and so we'll see how strawberries do in the aquaponics system, which I think they'll do pretty good. And then moving over, we have the clementine tree. We're going to be doing some work to this here in just a minute. We're going to be doing some pruning on that, so I'll take you through that. But this has been flowering so much, and if you see the little clementines starting in there, so those are fruit that have set. So here's an example of some of the fruit that has set, and hopefully those will turn into clementines. Now, many times in the past, this is a really critical stage. So when they're this small, we have to make sure that it's got enough nitrogen, enough potassium at this stage, and lots of water and sunlight. And so there are hundreds of these little clementines that have started on here, and so this is a critical stage. So we'll see if we can get them to set, the fruit to stay. A lot of times if they don't have enough nutrients or water or sunlight, they'll start falling off. And so hopefully we'll get this thing, keep it healthy and keep it fertilized, and hopefully we'll get a lot of fruit out of it this year. Also have a lemon tree. This was a donation from my nephew Jonathan. Thank you guys very much, Jonathan and Kayla. This is looks like it's been growing really well. We got this a month or two ago. You can see a lot of new growth on it, a lot of new leaves coming in, so that's a good sign. It's in a good sized pot for right now, but we'll be transplanting that into a bigger pot as it needs to, but you can see lots of new growth on that, so that's been doing really well. Also have something that I have not showed you guys yet, which is this little pico garden. We're going to plant something in here today. I'm not sure what, but we'll maybe pop some lettuce or something in there that's already been growing. So this has a little automatic watering system. You just keep this full, and it kind of seeps up here and keeps the dirt wet, soil wet. And it's got a little LED light that actually is telescoping, so you can move it up. You can move it up quite a bit, actually. And we have another lemon tree. This was an Amazon purchase this year. This has really not shown any signs of growth, unfortunately. We have some strawberries planted around the bottom here. They've been doing pretty good, just getting started. And once these kind of grow out, and I've got some cuttings, some suckers off these strawberries, I'll cut those off and I'll put them in the aquaponics system and keep splitting these out. But you can't really see much growth on here. So I'm just not sure if it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of in a dormant state, but it looks like it's still alive. It's green and seems to be healthy, so we'll see what happens with that. But that is a Meyer lemons tree, and again, that was purchased on Amazon right in the middle of winter. Came in freezing temperatures and seemed to do okay. This is the banana plant or banana tree, and this has just started to grow. It was almost dormant for most of the winter, and then once it started getting some good sunlight on it and the roots took hold, this is a whole new leaf that just popped out this week, and then another one's already on the way. So this thing, I've heard that once they get established, they'll start growing really fast, and that banana tree is supposed to grow 10 or 15 feet tall, so that should grow really nice in here. So this is the banana tree, the other one, the second banana tree that we bought. This one not doing so well. I'm pretty sure this one has finally died. I've been watching it for a few weeks here. We had this new leaf start, and then it looks like it just stopped growing. So I think this one may not have made it, but there was two of them, and these were Amazon purchases, both these banana plants. We got two of them for they weren't expensive, and so at least one of them made it. This is a mulberry tree, and this was just a stick we got in the mail. Again, another Amazon deal, was pretty cheap. Came in this little pot here, and I thought it was dead, but then it took about 3 weeks, and all of a sudden it just came to life, and so you can see just new leaves popping out everywhere. And so it's time to pot this into a larger pot and get it some compost or some fertilizer. But this will grow in here, and this could actually be transplanted outside. This will grow in a colder climate, but I may just keep it inside. This sad little unit here was a coffee tree or coffee bush, and I got this online in the dead of winter, and when they shipped it, it just hit a super cold snap of weather here. It was down to about 0 degrees outside, and this thing was in the mailbox, and it was frozen solid. So this is dead, but I think I can actually get a refund on this and see if we can get that replaced with a new coffee tree. They're not super expensive, another Amazon purchase, and you can get these pretty cheap, and they'll ship them right to the house. So we'll probably get a couple more of these coffee trees and plant these in here. This is an olive. This has been a pretty uneventful purchase. This was purchased again in winter and shipped from Amazon, and it's done pretty good. It's healthy. It's certainly maintaining okay, but these are very slow growing, and so we haven't really seen a whole lot of growth on this. But this should be pretty cool. I don't know how big these get. I think they're only a few feet tall, but it'd be pretty neat to get some olives growing in here. So I think that there is some new growth on the tips of these leaves here, and they all look pretty healthy, but just slow growing. We'll see if the warmer weather coming up here will make a difference for it. And lastly, we have the vegetable towers. So how did they do? A lot of people have talked, had a lot of questions about these towers and how they did with a very low light here in the Michigan winters. And they did pretty well. Yes, things got leggy. You can see got some beans and other things down here that got pretty leggy. And you can also see the back side of these towers is pretty much bare on every single one of these. The sides that were not facing the window barely grew. And you can see kale here is how small it is on the back side. And then if you look on the side, that there was a light and how big and healthy that side is. You've got spinach growing up here, and then the spinach, down here just barely flopping around. And that's the same with all the towers. You can see the back side of this, just barely anything growing at all. And then you get around to the front side, and you can just see how great this lettuce has been growing all down here. Carrots down in the pockets down towards the bottom there, beans and some strawberries around the back side there. There's some strawberries. And so this has done really well. These onions, these are Lisbon onions, I think, and these are doing pretty well too. So things get a little leggy, but it's okay. The temperatures are starting to warm up, and the sunlight is picking up, and so these will stiffen up and they'll grow just fine. A lot of this stuff now could have been thinned out, but I'm a sucker for just letting things grow way too dense, and then just cutting them back. This stuff here, this lettuce, this is cut and come again type stuff. So this is like a Caesar type lettuce. You can just come in and chop this stuff off and it'll keep growing back. We got radishes here, which we can harvest the actual radishes out of there or use the radish greens. Different kinds of lettuces here as well. More carrots down underneath here, and strawberries growing all together. So we'll thin some of that stuff out. And then beans, which these are just about ready to flower. So you can start to see some buds coming out here, and these beans will start to flower. I had some strawberries that I planted in here too, but I think the beans kind of shaded them out, and that's fine. I had way too many strawberries to plant in here anyway, and so we'll start spreading some of the ones that are healthier around into these other pockets as the summer goes on. You just come out here and cut this stuff off and have yourself a nice big healthy salad. So this has been a lot of fun growing in here, and this is just the first year. All these trees, except for the citrus, the clementine tree, is the only tree that we've had, you know, outside of just this year. Everything in here, this is just its first year. So I cannot wait to see how this stuff just bursts, you know, full of growth this summer out on the patio. We'll put it out on the deck and stuff like that for the summertime. We'll pull it all back in here for the wintertime. And I'm excited. Hopefully we get a bunch of fruit off this stuff and we can keep it growing right through the winter. So this clementine tree we've had for 5 years, and it's been transplanted in and out of the house and in and out of the greenhouse. And the last time we transplanted, when we moved, it took quite a hit. It was growing in the greenhouse, and we've got a lot of dead branches. So I waited a few months for it to leaf out to see which branches were dead and which ones were alive. So you can see, you know, you've got leaves on the top of this one all the way down, so this one's alive. This one here, there's no leaves on the top of it. So we're going to cut these back as far as we can and kind of clean out all these dead branches today, and that should help to kind of reinvigorate the tree also. I won't prune any of the living branches off of it right now. I'll actually come back and prune it when I bring it back in the fall. So this tree has actually not produced very many oranges for us, or clementines, because we've had a hard time, just the learning curve of moving these kinds of trees in and out of your house in a Michigan winter. There's such a shock to the tree every time you move it in. So we'd have oranges growing on it, and then we'd bring it in because the weather would get cold, and a lot of the flowers would fall off, or the fruit wouldn't set, or had all kinds of different issues with those things. So learning curve with trying to grow these kinds of tropical plants in an environment that they're not really meant to grow in. But we have got a few clementines off of it, and they've been very good. All right, I think that's pretty good. That gets all the dead branches out of there, and we will see what happens. Nothing goes to waste here. So this is the avocado tree. I'll take a lot of these clippings from the clementine tree, since this tree doesn't have a lot of mulch around it, and we'll use these clippings to mulch this tree, so everything kind of stays in a little ecosystem here. So this stuff will break down. It'll help to keep the moisture in the soil around the tree here, and eventually this stuff will break down and we'll get some worms and things in here once the soil gets more established, and this will create a good healthy ecosystem of microorganisms that are going to help keep this tree healthy. This is kind of a neat little garden. These things are kind of cheap. Comes with a little LED light and everything, and it actually has a little timer you can set for the light. A bunch of different ways to attach it. It's got Velcro options. It has this little funnel that you stick on the side. You pour water right in that funnel, and then it fills up the little water reservoir, and keep raising it up as you get bigger. And I think you could grow I don't know, some smaller stuff in there anyway, some little leaf lettuce, or maybe a spinach plant, or maybe some little herbs, little oregano plants or thyme or something like that would grow well in here. Some small rosemary you could do, and you could stick it on your refrigerator or something that has a magnetic back on it. So this back side of it here just sticks to this metal metal vent we have on the wall, and it seems to stick pretty good, holds it up just fine. It has been so cool growing things throughout the wintertime in this atrium, and spring is finally here, and we're about a month or two, maybe a month and a half away from our last or latest frost date in the spring here. So usually, you know, beginning of May, mid-May, we can get some things put outside, and so we'll wait till that danger of frost passes, and we'll move all this stuff out onto our decks, and we'll let those trees just soak up the sun out there throughout the summertime and that warm weather, and we'll be able to water them with the hose and just kind of let them grow out there. These garden towers will probably keep these growing inside and just keep lettuces and other things like that growing in here. But lots of fun to come. I'll keep you guys updated every few months on the atrium and how things are growing. It is time to get your seeds started. If you haven't already done so, we're going to be starting ours in the next couple days. We're actually almost a little bit behind here in March in Michigan, but time to start seeds. And if you haven't already done so, go over to MI Gardener's site. There's a link in the description. You get a little bit of a discount. You head over there. He's got tons of seeds. He's got a lot of new stuff too, bare root plants and fruit things, and all kinds of other stuff. So check out his stuff, and we'd love to have you send you over his way. He does a great job. A local Michigan company we like to support, and so you can get all this stuff online and have it shipped to your house and get your seeds there. They're cheap and great. We've had great luck with all his stuff. So get your seeds, get your stuff planted, and get ready for gardening seasons just around the corner. We're so excited to get some stuff started, have things growing, and get outside and get some vegetables. So as always, don't forget to hit thumbs up on today's video. Of course, subscribe if this is your first time here and you want to see the progress of the indoor forest or indoor garden here. We'll be continuing to expand. I'm excited about growing some fruit in here. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.